today's Toy Spot, we are having a look at the DC Collectibles Batman Arkham Knight, number 4, Harley Quinn. Warning, choking hazards, small parts not for children under 3 years of age. This is recommended for ages 14 and up. Harley Quinn looks like she comes with a slew of different accessories, a couple of interchangeable hands, a jack-in-the-box, a pistol, and even her trusty baseball bat. Spin around to the side of the package, we've got a tech spec kind of design of Harley Quinn. Kind of showing you, I guess, how she would have been designed, her frame would have been designed in the game, and then of course skinned over top. And then on the back, the first series, Series 1, consists of Batman, Arkham Knight, Batman, Scarecrow, and Harley Quinn. All 4 figures are sculpted from the folks over at Gentle Giant Studios. Nice way to display also the box, not something I mentioned with Scarecrow and Batman, but with the packaging itself, you could still display Harley Quinn full visible, nothing other than really her boots, I guess. The figure can still be fully visible without taking her out of packaging. That being said, though, Spot is going to take a break. I'm going to get her out of the package, and when we come back, we're going to get a better look at Arkham Knight's Harley Quinn. There's more anyway, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Having a look at Harley Quinn, she is a nice looking figure. I was initially going to think that she fell into the curse that it seems Harleys seem to have when it comes to figure releases. Just something about Harley Quinn's, more so the video game Harley releases, where they just don't end up coming up with a very pretty looking Harley. The other hand, though, when you start having a look at this particular Harley Quinn, she does have a pretty good looking face. I think the problem that I initially had was her face was down when you had her in the packaging. And it kind of distorted my feeling about how the figure was going to look. I truthfully thought it was going to be yet another ugly Harley Quinn. But, tipping the head back, yeah, I do really like the face. I think as the only thing I would say as a critique to the face, as how the face could be improved upon, is maybe if they had given her just a bit of a smirk. Just a bit of a smirk, just that little bit of playful Harley in her face, as opposed to giving her such a serious look. She's got the sheen on her lips, giving her the indication that her lips are wet by lipstick or other, and her eyes are nicely painted as well. They're small, and in fact her eyes are angled in such a way that it looks like she's looking to the one side. Her hair covers over the other eye, so you can't quite make out whether she's cross-eyed or in fact looking again at this direction right here. A good transition of color as well from the ears to the face, as when you get to the areas of her cheeks, she's got a little bit of rouge there, and it does look like it gets a little fainter as it gets closer to the ears. That's a nice little small touch that I appreciate. Her hair carries over Harley traits as well, being one side of the ponytail, pigtail dyed, I should say, in the red color, more like an orange color. And then on the other side, a black, but again, more kind of almost like a greenish gray. There's also a little bit of splotch, a little bit of paint imperfection that I've got, sadly, right by the chin. And it doesn't look like I can actually remove it, so it could be just a scratch that's been done to the paint. But it's small enough, it's not something I would necessarily notice, having the figure at a distance. As for the rest of the body, it's an amalgamation really between Arkham Knight's Harley, kind of Arkham City's Harley. She's got the bustier, but it's similar, kind of that similar top that she had in Arkham Asylum, that kind of nurse outfit. And then she's got the frilled skirt down below. The frilled skirt is big enough and pliable enough that you can still move her legs a good amount of distance, especially out. And the skirt, being it soft and the sculpt of it, doesn't hinder it at all, which is a nice touch also. Some other details, the darker red and the black. The only thing I would say is that the colors on the figure, while more perhaps realistic and dirtied, the way it really could be if she was out as, a character that's playing out in Arkham, I don't know, if I kind of feel like the colors maybe are a little muted. It's not quite a stark black, not quite a stark cranberry red, that they all kind of just blend into one another. They don't really pop as much as I would like. The frills and poofs on her sleeves are a nice touch as well, but it's that dingier gray. There's not really a lot of bright color until you start looking at the coloring of her face, the coloring of her flesh tone as well. And that could also be deliberate too. Keep the rest of her body a muted color so that the rest of the color, especially in her face and skin tone, all stand out. She's got the diamond, of course, Harley trademark symbols on her legs. And of course, she has the larger boots. More the calf-high boots and more like an army style, army style type of boots, which is a nice touch as well. The paint on the boots also carries over that muted color. In fact, it looks like the red has been painted over a black color that it doesn't seem as solid of a color as much as I had hoped. But still, it's a good solid outing for Harley Quinn. Just putting her down quickly for a second, some of the accessories that come with Harley Quinn is a jack-in-the-box. This does not wind, so, well, it does and it doesn't. It does, but you have to be very careful for it. In fact, there are areas when, like right there, I feel like it hits a bit of resistance that don't turn it too much, or you might find perhaps it could break. But it is on a real spring, so you can get some nice effect going on there with the jack-in-the-box. Something about the jack-in-the-box too reminds me of the puzzle box from Hellraiser, maybe more so from the top, just the decoration. I don't know, just screams to me like a Hellraiser design. Other accessories include, she comes with a detonator. Again, that very muted color. All the colors kind of have that consistent trend to them. They don't really stand out from one another. They all just kind of blend in with one another. So the blue and the gray kind of come together in this muddy wash. She also comes with her candy striped baseball bat, which is, they put a paint on it that gives it that aged look, which for the bat I do like. The candy striped red that wraps around the bat itself isn't very clean, but again, it looks like something that she would have taken herself and, proceeded to paint her own bat. Her last of her accessories, at least from the weapons end of it and accessory-wise, she also comes with a handgun, a little hand pistol, colored in almost like gunmetal gray with a black handle, a nice touch. And to accommodate holding any one of her accessories, she comes with a open palm, one single open palm, and one partially closed hand. The hands that she's currently sporting are geared more so, I feel, towards like gun holding, as you can put the gun into her hand. And it seems like, again, her finger is fitting perfectly into the trigger of the handgun. It's a little loose. It doesn't sit as tight in her hand as I'd hoped, but still does a pretty good job. And then, of course, she can hold her baseball bat. Maybe not necessarily, I wouldn't necessarily say this hand suitable for baseball bat holding, baseball bat wielding. You could probably accommodate it in more so this hand. I guess the only problem I have, not really even so much the paint, but again, one problem I have, especially with female figures, is small hands. And the culprits usually I find above anything else is thumbs. Thumbs. I don't know why. Her thumb bends. You got to be careful putting the baseball bat in there. It's pliable enough, yes, that the thumb shouldn't break off, but still be very careful putting the baseball bat in her hand. Or again, you can swap it out to any one of the other accessories. This one I think more suited for the detonator, but still you can mix and match to your heart's content. When it comes to her articulation, well, Harley Quinn does have actually a fair bit going for her. Her head is on a ball joint. No articulation in her pigtails, which I'm not expecting her to have articulated pigtails. Ball hinge joint shoulders, which rotate very easily. Bend only in her elbow, which also serves as the swivel point. There is no swivel at the top of her bicep. I thought was going to be right by the cuff of her shoulder poof here, but no, the rotational point is actually at her forearm. Swivel point also and hinge in her hands. She has an upper torso crunch, but as you can see, it's very stiff. Doesn't pivot up and down very much, but it does swivel left and right. And as mentioned, her legs are on a ball joint. Move very easily. You could theoretically put her in a splits. I wouldn't put the stress on that kind of figure. Also for posing, why would you want to also put her in the splits? But, if you had a proper display stand, sadly she doesn't come with one. Again, you could have Harley, maybe walking up to Batman, baseball bat in hand, about to clobber the bats. She also has a double bend at the knee, a nice touch by DC Collectibles, and also a hinge and pivot point in the foot. It doesn't look like she has any swivel point in the boot itself, but the pivot point definitely goes a long way in the foot, and I do appreciate that. At the end of the day, I have to say, it's one of those figures, it breaks the mold, so to speak. It breaks the mold of a Harley Quinn figure. I think initially I was going into it thinking, honestly, truthfully so, I honestly thought that this figure was going to be yet another ugly Harley. And I hate to say it, like Harleys are either good or bad. I've said this on a couple of occasions before. Harleys can be good, Harleys can be bad. Movie Harleys, video game Harleys, I should say, seem to struggle a little bit more because they try to do a more realistic approach to Harley Quinn. That Arkham Asylum Harley, Arkham City Harley weren't the nicest looking figures. I think this Harley has actually done a service to the character in the game. She's a really pretty figure. She's superposable, tons of accessories. She's a good figure to want to pick up and add to your collection. Today's Toy Spot, we're having a look at the DC Collectibles, the Batman Arkham Knight, Harley Quinn. A fantastic figure. Very surprised at actually how much I ended up liking this piece. Stay tuned, guys. Spot's going to have more Toy Spots heading your way. Thanks for watching, as you always do. I'll see you next time.